Blackstone presents The Dark Ages by Joseph Mccabe. This book is read by Oberon Michaels. Chapter 1. The Making of the Middle Ages. One Sunday morning, in the year 1922, I stood for an hour closely packed in a crowd of Bulgar peasants. We were at the frontier railway depot, at 6 in the morning. It was a festival of some ancient saint as well as a Sunday, and from the Serb side hundreds of peasants were crossing into their native Bulgaria for a day. They were mostly women, in spotless white linen and gaudily embroidered vests and skirts. Even the few men were sober at that hour. But I looked into the scores of pairs of eyes all around me, and wondered. They were the eyes of their cattle, lit by a dull gleam, a dawn, of human kindliness and intelligence, and in their depths one could see or surmise slumbering passions which cattle never know. From depot to depot along the slow route the train emptied and refilled with such crowds. As the hours passed, the gait of the men grew unsteadier, and their raucous voices louder, and the laughter of the women rang out over the idle fields. For lunch I had to pass through their third-class coach. A burly assistant literally rammed a narrow way for me through the sweating mass. They were too happy to grumble. One man had a big drum on the train. They were packed 4 to the square yard. The aroma of strong native wine clung like a mist. The bovine eyes now shone with animal vitality. The gaping, roaring mouths of the men, the faint pretence of reserve in the women's laughter, the mutual glances of the little girls, told the nature of the jokes that were thundered above the babel. On the previous Sunday I had been in Vienna, one of the loveliest, most captivating, most urbane and refined cities on the globe. In a week I had passed from 1922 to 922 or thereabouts, from modern times to the Middle Ages. There has been a queer movement of civilization in the course of time. Once all civilization flourished round the Mediterranean Sea. The Mediterranean race was the great race. Beyond the Alps, beyond the Danube, were mere barbarians. They seemed as unlikely as the negroes south of the Sahara ever to build cities and write philosophies. But civilization passed to the great white race, and round the Mediterranean were only beggarly remnants of the ancient peoples.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?